religiosity, artha, economic development. Kama, sense gratification. Moksha, liberation. Vancha, desire for. Adi, and so on. Saba, all. Translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The darkness of ignorance is called Kaitava, the way of cheating which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Verse number 91, 1.91. Dharma projita Kaitava atra paramo nirma tasaran satam Vedyam vastavam atra vastu sivadam tapa trayo namulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimba Paraiswara Sadyo Hida Avyur Dhartye Atra Kritivi Shushruvis Tat Krishnat. Synonyms: Dharma, religiously; Prajita, completely rejected; Kaitava, in which fruitive intent; Atra, herein; Parama, the highest; Nirmata, Saranam, of the 100% pure in heart; Satam, devotees; Vedyam, to be understood; Vatsavam, factual; Atra, herein; Vatsu, substance; Sivadam, giving well-being; Tapatraya, of the threefold miseries; Unmulanam, causing uprooting; Srimad, beautiful; Bhagavate, in the Bhagavad Purana; Mahamuni, by the sage Vyasadeva, by the great sage Vyasadeva; Krite, compiled; Kim, what? Va, indeed; Parai, with others; Iswara, the Supreme Lord; Sadhya, at once; Hridi, within the heart; Avyudhyate, becomes confined; Atra, herein; Kritivi, by pious men; Susru Subhi, desiring to hear; Tat Krishnat, without delay. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by Mahamuni Vyasadeva from 4 original verses, describes the most elevated and kind-hearted devotees and completely rejects the cheating ways of materially motivated religiosity. It propounds the highest principle of eternal religion, which can factually mitigate the threefold miseries of a living being and award the highest benediction of full prosperity and knowledge. Those willing to hear the message of the scripture in a submissive attitude of service can at once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, there is no need for any scripture other than Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. This verse appears in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Verse 2. The words Mahamuni Krite indicates that Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva, who is sometimes known as Narayana Mahamuni because he is an incarnation of Narayana. Vyasadeva, therefore, is not an ordinary man, but is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He compiled the beautiful Bhagavatam to narrate some of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. In Srimad Bhagavatam, a distinction between real religion and pretentious religion has been clearly made. According to the original and genuine commentation of the Vedanta Sutra, there are numerous pretentious faiths that pass as religion but neglect the real essence of religion. The real religion of a living being in his natural inborn quality, whereas pretentious religion is a form of nescience and artificially covers a living entity's pure consciousness under certain unfavorable conditions. Real religion lies dormant when artificial religion dominates from the mental plane. A living being can awaken this dormant religion by hearing with pure heart. The path of religion prescribed by the Srimad Bhagavatam is different from all form of imperfect religiosity. Religion can be considered in the following 3 divisions: the path of fruitive work, the path of knowledge and mystic powers, and the path of worship and devotional service. The path of productive work, karma kanda, even when decorated by religious ceremonies meant to elevate one's material condition, is a cheating process because it can never enable one to gain relief from material existence and achieve the highest goal. A living entity perpetually struggles hard to rid himself in the pangs of material existence, but the path of fruitive work leads him to either temporary happiness or temporary distress in material existence. By pious fruitive work, one is placed in a position where he can temporarily feel material happiness, whereas vicious activities lead him to distressful position of material want and scarcity. However, even if one is put into the most perfect situation of material happiness, he cannot in that way become free from the pangs of birth, death, old age, and disease. A materially happy person is therefore in need of eternal relief that mundane religiosity in terms of fruitive work can never afford. Let's end here. It's a long purport. Uh, I did note it down, but it's a very long purport. So let's discuss a little bit about this two wonderful verses on this auspicious day of Makar Sankranti. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutali Swayam Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vitam Sha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे नीलाचल निवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः. Thank you so much for joining this wonderful Chaitanya Charitamrita discussion forum. Beautifully, um, uh, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is so beautifully explaining Agyanar Tamera Nama Kahiya Kaitava Dharma Artha Kama Moksha Vancha Adisava. The darkness of ignorance is called Kaitava, the way of cheating which begins with religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification and liberation. And the Kaitava Dharma is explained from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, which Vyasadeva has written in the subject matter on verse number 91. So, how many of you have heard about Kaitava before? Any raise of hands, or anyone wants to unmute and mention? How many of you have heard of Kaitava? Childhood prayers. Have you heard of Kaitava before?
No, Prabhuji, we never heard it. First time.
Okay. So, Mataji, sometimes you remember when we were doing prayers in the childhood, there is a beautiful song which is written by Sri Vallabhacharya. Hare Murare Madhukaitava Hare Gopala Govinda Mukunda Saure Yagyasya Narayana Krishna Vishnu Nidashrayangmang Jagadisarke. Hare Murare Kaitava. You might have heard it, Kaitava. So
no,
I'm
song. We
yes,
were
yes.
Gujarati medium, so our all the thing was different.
Okay. So this is a song which I grew up from my childhood, and this is Kaitavadhan. So what happens? Madhu and Kaitava were two demons. Madhu was one demon, and Kaitava is another demon. Madhu epitomizes sense of passion, and Kaitava is sense of ignorance. So what Ballavacharya is one of our founding of the four paramparas. Vallabhacharya is a presiding guru or acharya of one parampara. He wrote that Murari, the enemy of Madhu and Kaitava, Gopala Govinda Mukunda, Krishna, the crowning Lord, the Lord of sacrifices, Narayana Krishna Vishnu, O Lord of the universe, please protect me, who has no other resort. So this Kaitava, as you heard in our childhood, in your prayers, this is a beautiful prayer. Many of you have grown up is nothing but this pretentious nature, the pretentious ability, or this ability to make pretentious is a way of cheating. Srila Prabhupada is saying Kaitama, the way of cheating. So Kaitava is a demon which epitomizes ignorance. And this Kaitava dharma is beautifully explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the second verse of the beginning of the Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, Dharma Prajojita Kaitava. That means completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavata Purana, Srimad Bhagavatam, propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are in fully pure in heart. So sometimes when we are in Krishna consciousness, we have this tendency to take benefit of the process of Krishna consciousness. Everybody, if you remember, in our day-to-day life, is trying to do some dharma, trying to acquire some artha, money, kama, having some desire, and they want to liberate themselves and merge in the effulgence of the Lord. See, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, these are a very basic mentality of a typical religiosity. That's why Bhakti Vinod Maharaj is a, a senior Vaishnava in our parampara, and he is now taking care of the Trivandrum project. He has come to our temple many times. He mentions the difference between religiosity and spirituality. Religiosity, as Srila Prabhupada is translating, is our ability to think that this religion or faith we are in will benefit us. And that mentality to think that religiosity will benefit us is a cheating dharma. Because everybody is after dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Dharma means religiosity. Artha means economic development. Sense gratification is kama, and liberation is moksha. So Maharaj says that there is a difference between religiosity and spirituality. In our movement, we want to understand who we are. Are we the body or the soul? If we are the soul, who we have come from, and that relationship establishment is our dharma, our method. So sometimes whenever we try to do some puja, for example, to get some benefit, that mentality of doing puja to benefit us is a cheating propensity, So that is Kaitava dharma. Anytime. So anytime there are karma kanda pujas, don't want to name any of them, but those pujas which are done to get rid of obstacles and all that are cheating propensity. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha mentality is a cheating religion. But when a person is serving the Lord, there is no expectation of any benefit. Think about you are serving the Lord. In comparison, you are doing a yajna to get rid of all your impurities. There is a difference because you are serving. There is no expectation. Once you get into karma kanda, do certain puja, the puja where you recite a pastime of the Lord and discuss, and that is supposed to take away all the impurities and obstacles in our life. That is done with a benefit in mind. Or dharma, which is done for economic development in mind. Krishna says, the people who come to me, I give them money, I give them. So that is a very cheating mentality. And the third is sense gratification. In the name of dharma, there is a expectation to gratify our senses. And merging with the Supreme is another such process. So today's discussion is about how to recognize Kaitava Dharma or
Hmm.
cheating religion, and how to eradicate ourselves from the cheating religion. It's a very beautiful subject matter. Our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying at what time we recognize most of the people who are outside the so-called the followers of Hinduism, most of them actually, if you think about it, they are into total cheating religion. Some benefit, breaking a coconut, getting some benefit. That is all Kaitava Dharma. Madhu Kaitava Hare, as Valvacharya is referring to in the Ashtakam. So it is mentioned by in Srimad Bhagavatam by Vyasadeva, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He he's saying there are three paths basically: the path of fruitive work, karma yoga; the path of knowledge, jnana yoga; and the path of worship and devotional service. The path of work, you end up doing some karma, you get some benefit, but that process is such that you're expecting to get some result. So there is expectation. In the path of knowledge and mystic powers, you acquire knowledge, you recite beautifully, and then you get some benefit. But the topmost is the path of worship and devotional service, because there is no such expectation of reciting the verses or trying to do some fruitive work to our benefit. So as we read more and more, as we associate with devotees more and more, and as we spend more time in Krishna consciousness, we understand what Kaitava Dharma is and how we should shun ourselves from this cheating propensity and cheating mentality. And there, Srila Prabhupada is so beautifully explaining the path of fruitive work, karma kanda, is the some form of yajna. You do a puja to benefit, do a puja to get a good partner, whether a boy is seeking a girl or girl is seeking a boy. And these are all cheating propensity. These are all is all temporary. And see, the reason why Kaitava Dharma started in the first place is people were not just following anything. In order to motivate them for some benefit, at the time, the not the acharyas really, the so-called Brahmins aligned them to come and do the path. At least they will come and do something. Sometimes when you realize, is Kaitava Dharma totally wrong? Probably not, but at least getting some people. But as practitioners, we are in a different league altogether. We have shunned, we are regulated, we are not eating certain, uh, you know, food items which have violence in them. We are not indulging in illicit activities. We are not indulging in intoxication, and we are we are not indulging in gambling. We are very much regulated. So for people like Krishna conscious devotees who are at the topmost chain of understanding spirituality, at this time also we have something to avoid, and that is Kaitava Dharma. That is our ability to recognize recognize the cheating religion in our lives. And cheating religion is is a thing which is very important for all of us to understand. Because today, on this auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he took his sannyas initiation on this day. He is Krishna himself. He did not take an initiation, but he took the initiation to show the Lok Katha, to align, to pave the way for others that you need to take some form of initiation to align with the parampara. Because he wanted to show the example. He did not take initiation. He is beyond. He is Trigunatit. He is beyond the three modes of material nature. The modes haven't caught him because he's Krishna himself. But in this age of Kali, he wanted to pave the way for his devotees to follow the path he wants to lead, and that path is is to take surrender to a spiritual master. And today, on this auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, he took sannyas initiation. And today, many of our ISKCON temples are opened. ISKCON Juhu is opened on this day so many years ago. And every time on Makar Sankranti, ISKCON Juhu. So the ability for all of us to recognize the importance of the parampara and the importance of the path led by our acharyas are very important for us to shun this Kaitava dharma. This Kaitava dharma is, you may have reached the Brahminical fold, you may have some purity, but you have all these internal desires which you cannot let go. And that is nothing but Kaitava dharma. They are pretending that they are following the religiosity, but actually they are not. They're trying to do it for your benefit, that you do something, you'll get the result in a different way. And that is basically is our topic of today's conversation. And this Kaitava dharma is is something, it is an impediment to our progress in devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada is beautifully explaining dharma, artha, kama, moksha is Kaitava religion, is is a false and pretentious religion. And that's the reason why when Srila Prabhupada knew Vrindavan to a very close degree, wherein he knew everything, but he was maintaining his purity by staying in the Azadolmodo temple, and he knew everyone. So he came to America and started ISKCON because his guru asked him to do it, spread in Western world. And then some devotees from another parampara came and met Srila Prabhupada in America. And Srila Prabhupada asked about their guru, and they mentioned, so and so sannyasi is there those people's guru. And Srila Prabhupada knew them, that those sannyasis were not following the regulative principles. They were they were living um, in a system wherein the regulation which is proclaimed in dharma is not followed. They were sannyasis, they were doing religiosity, they were creating disciples, but they were not following the regulation. And Srila Prabhupada clearly mentioned that, this so and so person has, association with, you know, different people, and, which were full of cheating propensity. And when the devotees recognize that that is true, they transcend it to a higher level by shunning and aligning and getting inspired by Srila Prabhupada. If time will come in our life when Once you become Krishna conscious, totally convinced about the process Srila Prabhupada has laid out, you would see that you are having this little desires, the little desire to, you know, hold on to the mic or say something, or hold a position, or do something with which is proprietorship mentality. But actually, if you recognize internally, it is actually a cheating propensity. Is the Kaitava religion, which is so there are so once the purity in yourself amplifies, you'll understand that trying to do this puja, that puja, karma kanda puja is meaningless, and you don't end up doing that again and again. So it's a journey, and in this journey, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is so beautifully explaining about Ajnana Tamera, of the darkness of ignorance, how the cheating religiosity of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha is being propagated, and how a pure devotee of the Lord would understand the difference between pure religion and Kaitava religion. So today, the topic, the beautiful subject matter of Kaitava religion is discussed. The day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the day Vishmadev left this material world after taking darshan of the cynosure of his eyes, Lord Krishna. And whenever you see activities of Duryodhan, it should remind you what is Kaitava religion. He is actually inviting Krishna. Duryodhan is inviting Krishna. He creates a big feast and he's inviting him. He sits on the side of the head when Lord Krishna is sleeping. Arjuna is at the lotus feet. But his intent is to take benefit. His intent is to take the Akshoni Sena of Lord Krishna. His intent is not Krishna. His intent is to take all the fierce warriors of Lord Krishna. That's the reason why he is inviting him. He is following the religion. For him, it's we should recognize that Duryodhan is not an unintelligent person. He is a very bright person, but he is filled with Kaitava Dharma. He is filled with benefit seeking, making religion seek and multiply benefit. So he's doing all the right things. He has come to Krishna to negotiate Akshoni Sena. And also, on the same way, Arjuna was confused. Arjuna, even if he's getting some element of surrender by being at the lotus feet, of the same scenario I'm referring to when there was Krishna came as a mediator and Duryodhana has invited him. Arjuna was at the lotus feet. Arjuna was also having questions. He was not convinced. Finally, if you see the 18th chapter, where Krishna is describing what dharma is, Krishna is saying Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Abandon all kind of religion. Today we are talking about Kaitava Dharma, and Krishna himself is saying Sarva Dharman Parityaja, means abandon all kind of religions. How contrary it is. Because for us, the real religion is what Krishna says. If Krishna says abandon all kind of religion, that is the real religion. Surrender unto me. Mamekam Sharanam Raja. Surrendering to Krishna is the real religion. not what is mentioned in so many pujas, so many archanas. If at the end of the day we have not understood the surrendering process, then we haven't understood religion as such. That's why we are, and this is not a simple process. That's the reason why even people spending in Krishna consciousness several years, there is, because this dharma, artha, kama, moksha is so enticing, is they get entangled at a very late age. So that's why you see people falling down, and there is no guarantee that anybody will not fall down. So that's the reason why pada pada vipadam. That means every step of the way there is danger to fall down. And these Kaitava Dharma recognition will go a long way in strengthening our determination to stay and foster in Krishna consciousness. If we have weakness, if our chanting is not going well, if our service is not going well, there's a very chance that we all will fall down, because the Kaitava Dharma is all around us. We are in a minority. Most of the people who are of similar faith, they are following something which our acharyas have not recommended. Our acharyas have recommended us to recognize Kaitava Dharma. But there is a very thin line between Kaitava Dharma and pure Dharma. And staying glued to Krishna consciousness, hearing, and the greatest scripture of the all times, Srimad Bhagavatam, as in 1.91 we are discussing, will go a long way. If you constantly hear Srimad Bhagavatam, if you constantly hear Lord's pastimes, you see the different personalities as to how, in awe and reverence, Vishnudev is awaiting Lord's darshan before letting his life go, because he has Ichamrityu, boon, that whenever he desire, he will leave. He is on a bed of arrows, pinching, piercing, with so much of bleeding, but he's waiting for that last moment because he wants to live with Lord in his mindset. And Vidurji, so many wonderful. So as we hear these pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam, it purifies us. It strengthens our conviction against Kaitava Dharma. Why bhakti is supreme? Why karma and jnana, even if they are fine, but there are limitations. It strengthens, and that strengthening can only be experienced once we hear and study Srila Prabhupada's books and internalize that, so that the Kaitava Dharma can be shunned by us, and the mentality will see, we are part and parcel of the Supreme. We have the soul, which is part and parcel of the Supreme. However, sugarcoating we end up doing, we will not get happiness in any other place. We may get a job, it'll give us some happiness, get a promotion, the happiness will survive for a day or two. Whatever you end up doing, nothing will give us happiness unless you do something soulful, because we are not the body, we are the soul. Anything which is soulful have to be associated with the Supreme, because the soul has emanated from the super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. And anything we end up doing with pure loving devotion will give us happiness. But sometimes it is not giving us happiness because we have the victim mentality. Oh, I didn't get this in bhakti. I didn't get a chance in bhakti. That's why Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, another wonderful soul and a premier acharya of our movement, has said in the book Spiritual Warrior that as practitioners, we should shun this victim mentality in our life. If someday you didn't get what you had aspired for, the relationship is with someone else. The relationship is not with the local entities. Relationship is a supreme relationship. And as long as you serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all this Kaitava angle, the the cheating thing which is there in our system, wherein we feel that if we end up doing this, I'll be happy, but actually it is short lived. And then slowly and slowly, you will be insulated from your ability to gain little fame and name. And you realize at the end of the day, Bhakticharu Maharaj says, at the end of the day, if you get a local recognition, but actually Krishna is truly not recognizing you because Krishna is in your heart and he knows your cheating propensity, the Kaitava Dharma you are proposing, then what good is that name and fame? So once all these things are sunk in within us, we will unshackle ourselves from this Kaitava Dharma, just like when Krishna killed Madhu and Kaitava demon. Likewise, if we pray to him, then he will strengthen our cause and will not get ruffled by this uh, internal aspirations to do this, that, and so on and so forth. And we'll realize that whatever little we are doing is at the service if Krishna is pleased, that's enough. And the Kaitava Dharma is off our system. So, as practitioners, just wanted to end by saying that this Kaitava Dharma is very critical in our ability. And this Kaitava Dharma has fallen down great devotees in our movement, in other movements. And it's not about, you know, trying to ace something. It's about continuing to practice and increase our propensity to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it's not a 5 year degree or a 10-year PhD degree or something which you get at the end and then you can do whatever you want to do. But every step of the way, we are challenged by this mind which can recognize this Kaitava Dharma and this Sahajya mentality wherein you can easily get uh, sidetracked by our focus, can make us fall down. So it's a yardstick for us to recognize what a Kaitava Dharma is and how we should protect ourselves. It's all about us, right? It's all about our soul and how eventually the soul is serving the super soul. And once this Kaitava mentality is off our system, we have to always stay regulated and make sure this Kaitava Dharma never engulfs us in our ability to love and devote time for the service of the Lord. So, with that, like to end here. And this is a very important subject matter, which a lot of our acharyas have emphasized. And and on this day of auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, please recognize that unless we are alert, this Kaitava Dharma will engulf us and it will take us away from the Supreme and we may fall down. But if we are aware that such little pretentious dharma can be avoided from our system and day-to-day dealings and not hanker for personal benefits, then nobody can do anything to you in your pursuit of the Supreme. So with that, like to end here, like to hear your views about how you may have been engulfed or influenced by Kaitava Dharma and how you have responded, because we want to stay on the topic, not wander around, and stay focused on the subject matter, which is very critical for recognizing and understanding Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's masterpiece, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, nice class. You have explained very well about Ketava Dharma. I have self-realized since from the we grew up from the childhood, we were doing Ketava Dharma. I realized today we wanted to we wanted to always ask from the Krishna, Tameva Mata, Tameva Pita. We were saying, you are my Pita, you are my mother. So just like we ask everything to mom and dad, we are asking Krishna, give me a good result, give me more money, give me a good husband. All those we have done. That is a Ketava Dharma, right? We were cheating, but now I'm coming, I'm a neophyte, so gradually coming to ISKCON, I'm realizing that Krishna is the enjoyer and he is the proprietor, and we should serve him rather than we ask him everything from him. It's our duty to serve him. So I'm realizing slowly, and today you have explained very vast difference between Ketav Dharma and our real Dharma, which you have to love the Krishna. So I have realized that by explaining you that nicely.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for sharing your realizations. Every day we realize something which we. So this is a. So this group of devotees, association of devotees, is like a mirror. Once we mingle with the devotees and we open the spiritual subject matter, we see our face, right, which you have so honestly have shared, and a lot of us have been through the same thing what you have gone through until we joined ISKCON, and now with this big things which we are studying and discussing, we are realizing how much impurities we had, and when devotees share their heart and discuss among the devotees, it cleanses a lot of that. And Krishna is very pleased that at least within the lifetime, we have recognized what Kaitava Dharma is. And many people will just lead a life of Kaitava Dharma and they will never realize life after life. But at least with Srila Prabhupada's teachings, we're standing up to shun Kaitava Dharma, the pretentious religion. And you mentioned it. This is realization. This is not knowledge. You have heard it. You have looked inside, and you have shared it. So thank you for your frank realization.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other comments before we end? Any any thoughts? Any reflections, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, about what Kaitava Dharma is? It's a very wonderful subject matter. Devotees have gone at length to dwell on it. Bhakti is very powerful because When devotees serve in a selfless manner, Krishna becomes so pleased that Krishna comes out to serve his devotees. In no other process, Krishna serves his devotees. This is the only process where Krishna serves his pure devotees with so much of love and affection. So, and staying pure has its benefits. So, any comments we can learn from you in your pursuit of how you felt Kaitava Dharma is derailing you, because this is a open conversation, and if you want to share, we all will get benefited.
Prabhuji, can you explain why Krishna, we say he is an enjoyer? Can you explain me that nice, some in your words so I can understand a little better?
Yes. So the question is why Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are several subject matters. Krishna is the primary creator, Sarga, Visarga, primary creation, and secondary creation, Visarga, is Krishna has empowered Brahmaji to make this world. So the primary creator, so Krishna has created this beautiful world with river and uh, and mountains, and he has authorized Brahmaji as a secondary creator, Visarga. Sarga means primary creation, Visarga is secondary creation, to create this beautiful universe. So Krishna is is the emanator of all the energy. So he is the energetic in this case. So we all are part and parcel of the Supreme, and Krishna is the source of. So sometimes when you take some benefit of a city or a township or a state wherein you end up paying state taxes, you are enjoying certain benefits, but the benefit is provided to you by the state or the local uh, government or the state government or federal government. So you end up paying taxes. Likewise, the creator is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when you pay taxes in this country, Uncle Sam or whoever is receiving the money is getting all of that and he's distributing and he is the source. So likewise, Krishna mentions that he has created this beautiful universe and we are taking benefit of it, but we are not giving any taxes. Sometimes there are people, they're cutting trees, they're cutting, you know, getting rid of killing animals, and so that is Krishna's property, and life comes from life. If the people who are misbehaving in this nature has to pay the price. So Krishna is the source of all of this. Aham sarvasya prabhava. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that everything emanates from him. And and who is the enjoyer? The definition of enjoyment is a person who is the source of everything. In in your house, you you are a salaried employee and you get something. Even without Krishna consciousness background, the first right of the benefit or enjoyment of that money you bring to the table is the person. So he has everybody emanates from him. He has created this beautiful universe. So he is the one and only possessor, and he is the Adi Purusha. Govindam Adi Purusha Tamaham Bhajami. Brahmaji is saying Adi Purusha. He is the primeval person. He's not a he's not a void or something. He's a person. He has a name. His name is Shyam Sundar or Jagannath or uh, or Govinda or Rishikesh. He has a name. He has a name. So a person who has created everything, he has created this nature. Mother Ganga was born this day, Makar Sankranti. From him, all these rivers and mountains have emerged. Then the right of enjoyment has to be him, right? So
Right.
that's one. And as the source of energy and the source of all the souls, Paramatma is Krishna himself. He is the enjoyer in that sense. But when we do not recognize that, we misuse that relationship. And because of that, there are so many problems in this material world. So, Mataji, you asked a very good question. But as the source of everything, Krishna is the source of everything.
Mhm.
So, because he's the source of everything, he's he's entitled to be the supreme enjoyer. But when we don't recognize, we don't consider him, that is when irreligiosity steps in. And that is my understanding. But I'm sure there are better explanations. But that's how I would like to respond to you,
Or
Mataji.
just like in a material world, the CEO in the company has to enjoy the most, and the employer enjoys gets some wages, but not as CEO is enjoy. Just like Krishna enjoys the most. I can
Perfect.
correlate like that.
Exactly. That is the real point. Lord Krishna is the CEO of this entire universe
Or
and
Brahman.
a group of universe. So that's the reason why he get to enjoy this, and that's why he is a supreme enjoyer. Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other comments from anybody before we end? Okay, let's end today's discussion. It's 8 o'clock. Let's. So Mr. Prabhu is probably not around. If he's around. Okay, so let's end here today's discussion. Auspicious Makar Sankranti, beautiful auspicious day, and let's pray at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpa taruvescha
Yes,
kripa sindhu
Sindhu
vaevacha
Evacha
patitanam
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo namo.
Namo Namo
Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Vindaki Jai
jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila
Jai
Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur
Jai
Premanande. Hari
Hari
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Explained
Thank you.
very well.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Hari Bol.